Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio with Michael and Lee. Join us with topics that wake up the connection to your soul. You can listen to us at lightenuptalkradio.com. Welcome to Lighten Up Talk Radio. It is Sunday, June 3rd, and we're actually recording a second episode today. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. And we are going to talk about change, concept of change, and get a little bit into why are you here? Some interesting topics that just kind of hit on the surface while we were talking before deciding to record another episode, and so we're going to roll with this and see where we go today. And before we roll into that, we're going to see where an oracle card takes us. And these cards that I am just picking one from are the daily guidance cards from Doreen Virtue. And I just picked the Ask card. And it says, ask us to help you in this situation, and we will immediately go to work on your behalf. We are governed by many universal laws, and among them is the free will that allows you to make your own choices and decisions. So we patiently await your request. Wow. So why are you here, Lee? That's a fun question. So I was going to ask her that question because that obviously brings into my thought, if you don't know, it's time to ask the angels.
That's correct.
So why are you here, Lee? What comes to you?
That is a very in-depth question for me, Michael.
We'll go in as little or as long as you wish.
I will go in as lightly as I possibly can with this. I believe that I was reincarnated here again out of a lot of different lives that I've had in the past. I have been told that I'm a very old soul. So a very old soul is a person that has come back a lot of different times to learn a lot of different lessons. And the reason why I am back into this time is because we're in the 2012 energy. There's a lot of changes that is going on in all of our lives. And my purpose in this lifetime is to nurture, to teach, to actually go into a life purpose of total desire and love for others, loving myself. I've been through a lot of different situations in my lifetime that, as I've said in the past, that you look at, and all of them was for purpose of where I am today, to be able to go into helping other people. And within that is giving back. It's a situation that I can't even go by anybody on the street that has that's wanting a handout of any sort, because I feel at that time that they're equal with me and with everybody else. And it doesn't make any difference to put any type of judgment onto those people. It doesn't make any difference. I'm going to give them something of what I have, because it's my purpose and divine wish to do that, because it's not about what they do when you give it to them. It's the ordeal of you giving it to them. And I believe that my life has been quite a different one this time than before. I've been through a lot of past life regressions in this lifetime, and I've been most of my time a man. This time around, I came into as a female, and the energy, of course, is quite different. But there's a part of me that always says that I feel much more like a male energy than I do a female energy in this lifetime. And I think I was brought back here to be able to relate to both, to men and women on an equal basis, and to have the wherewithal of just knowing what to say whenever a question is asked, not having to go into my head to really think too much about it. To always know that the guidance is there. All I have to do is just shut my eyes for 5 seconds and it comes in. It is all around, for me, it's all around total peace and love and being able to totally be happy at every moment of my day. And that hopefully will wear off on a lot of different people as far as them thinking the same way. I've had a lot of people in my lifetime this time that said, I can just kind of be around you and I feel happy about it. You don't really have to do anything. And you see, it's pretty amazing to me because, you don't look at yourself that way. But it's always a blessing to me when somebody says that because I'm thinking, well, exactly why I am here is to have that type of energy that is attached to me to make people feel like that they're welcomed and they don't have to go in any type of fear mode with me because I have no prejudice against it. And whatever that you want to ask, I want to be pretty frank in telling you what I think that the answer is. But it's always going to be in a very loving manner of what comes to me from divine. I don't ever go into my own self to really answer questions. I always ask first, how do I need to speak to this person that they can relate to where it changes their whole lives? Now I'll ask you the same question, Michael.
And where I'm immediately drawn back into when I was about 5 years old, and I had this awareness. Some of you may have had awareness when you're a child, and some people don't are aware. But I remember being so clearly aware that I was extremely unique. I had that feeling of being very unique, very sensitive, very different than the type of energies that were around me. And I didn't really know how to relate, but I would always get that, Michael, your life, you're a little bit different. It's okay. And one of the things that I remember when I was about 5 or 6 of the awareness that I was going to have the attraction, and I always had the attraction towards men instead of women. And I also knew that my life was not going to have a family in the traditional sense of one. And I remember that so keenly, those awarenesses between the age of 5 and 6. And as I grew up, I also became aware that my life was to help people heal and to help me heal. I remember hearing that in my around 10, 11, that was I was part of my whatever. I couldn't really put it into words other than I would hear that, didn't really know what to do about it because I didn't know the path of it, but that was okay. And that all of those pieces were part of me. And so I've always had that in the background, knowing those things, and followed the way life took me each step of the way into, engineering and all these different kinds of things, which I could talk about a long time, but which are all a tremendous part of my path and purpose and helping me get to the place to where I could relate to other people. All of those things before I actually stepped off of the corporate America path and all those things into the conscious healer path of being aware that it was time to do that, were getting me ready to actually relate to people. And so I feel that I am here, one, to help myself and others be okay with who they are, even if they're totally different and feel like they are don't fit into any norm whatsoever, that's okay. I feel like I came in to experience the process of all of the emotions, all of the sensations in this human form of what that process is like, to learn the lessons of it, and to help others do the same. And that to me is why I'm here. The how of it and how that works, I kind of try to stay out of it, because I know that I'm doing it, and that each and of how that unfolds in my life is going to change, and it's going to come in different phases and modes, and I'm going to express it in different ways. But that is who I feel that I am and why I'm here. And I do feel that we come in to experience, for me, all these different sensations of being in a human body. When I was young, I was real afraid of it because I was sensitive to all, and I still am, but I've learned so much of how to embrace being here in the body, being and enjoying the full spectrum of emotions, from sadness to, the passion, to all of these things, and learning how to not be taken away by them, but to enjoy, experience, and use them for the gifts that they are and that they provide. So that, in a nutshell, that would be the answer to my version of the question.
I think it's been very amazing for the two of us to meet the way that we did. Anyway,
oh yeah, that was
it's
cool.
The purpose of me being here has been all that I've said, but also the purpose has been to meet you as well. Mm-hmm. We were kind of back and forth with each other as far as the first time I ever laid my eyes on you. I knew that there was a total attraction to that. Mm-hmm. And I know we've talked about this before, and you felt the same here. And it was like it was a total connection that I had known you before. And so I came home, and I sat, and I thought about, what is this Michael Lott hitting on me so hard as far as in my head? Because I know that whenever I really need to pay attention to something, Spirit's always saying, okay, you need to just sit, you need to think about it, go out of yourself for a while, and let's just give you the answer. Mm-hmm. And I realized at that time that you had been my child in a past life. Not only one time, but I've actually seen you 3 times. And there was always reason to why we would actually meet up together this time. And that is part of the purpose of why we're here. We're here to be sitting right here doing this radio show. We're sitting right here to be able to have different types of outlooks on how we see life. You as a single man, me as a woman that is has had a force of 4 children, married, totally backgrounds totally different as far as how we were raised. Mm-hmm. You come from a family of 5? Mm-hmm. I come as an only child. I mean, if you looked at the lifetimes that we're in right now, we came from totally, absolutely different places. Even parts of the country were different for us. But you know what happened? We actually connected with each other in a city that I never believed that I would ever be living in.
And I didn't believe that I would come back to.
And you didn't believe you'd be back here either, because you was working on engineers' cars. But it's very interesting that we've come back into this space, because there was a place that we needed to be here, right where we're sitting right now. Mm-hmm. You're a healer, and I am a healer as well. Mm-hmm. Even our healing techniques are different. It's very interesting how we react as far as the way that we can actually meditate. We do it differently. Mm-hmm. We do it differently. Everything that we do is different. Mm-hmm. Even though it's the same thing, it's still different. And that's why I think it really resonates to me. It doesn't make any difference how you do it.
That's for sure.
It all has the same results, because that was how that you were put together into this lifetime. And the way that it is the way that it needs to look like. And I believe that both of us have a larger place in life to be able to talk in large groups of people all over the world. Our plan, we were just talking about before we went on the air, our plan is to just travel and to go and to be able to have the freedom to be able to do that. You see, in any part of what I just said, it had nothing to do with money, because I don't even think about that, because when it's supposed to be, it will show right up on our doorstep for that to happen.
Thus, there's the financial freedom we were talking about
exactly
in the previous episode.
When you when you totally can look at your situation and what you want out of life, and that the dollar never even comes into your mind. You just only know you're going to do it, and it will come about any way that's supposed to be. But it doesn't even faze my mind. I don't even go there. I just know that I will be able to go around this world, every place that I want to go, and I don't even have to think about where it comes from. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
The next phase after this radio show, we are going to be doing even more exciting things with this radio show that we haven't put all in place yet, but it's going to be. We are also going to be on TV. That is going to happen. That's why, in my lifetime, in this lifetime, there has been media in my life from the very time that I can remember. I've always been very excited about doing TV, radio, marketing, writing. Michael and myself both are in the midst of a book, writing a book. Michael's probably a little bit farther, but I've got a lot more notes. But it's going to be some kind of a book, the one that I'm going to finish, and so will he. So that is definitely on the docket for us to do. And to really be able to put conferences together all over the world where you can actually come in. And there's really, we're not even thinking about the money part of it. It's the passion part of it, of who we are. We came in here without any type of thought about how we're going to get to anywhere that we were going to get to as far as money, because we don't think that way. We just think that whenever it's our purpose and whatever that we already know that we're going to do, it will always be there when it's time for us to do that. The key to this thing is to not get ahead of yourself. And both of us to have the type of personalities that we used to think several years ago, let's do it now. Oh boy, we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait to see each other. What are we going to do today? What are we going to do? And now we've just finally got huge messages after a lot of meditation and really getting within ourselves and life experiences, that we settled ourselves in. And whenever that day happened, which was primarily about the same day because that's the way it was designed to be, then we both could just sit back in a chair and what we needed came to us. It wasn't even a second thought about. There is a retreat that will be put together, whereas we can, the dream is, and we will do this, build a media center on it. It will be a place where people can come visit and be able to go into the purpose of energy work and whatever else that's out there that is needed at that time. We're not even in our plan yet of 2012. We're just getting through the energy of doing this and helping other people. What's next is just whenever it comes to us, we've now settled ourselves down to not ever get ahead of ourselves. You got it with that. But there's one thing that we can tell you right now. It is going to happen. Absolutely. And it is such a wonderful feeling when you can get so totally free from all the exterior things that happen in your life to be able to go within your own heart. And you need to just say, what is the purpose for me to be here? Why am I here? And it automatically will come to you. Just open your heart and your ears and just listen. Yeah, because it's so easy. It's been so easy in the past to get caught up in the end dream, instead of, if you just understand why you're here and keep going deeper, ask yourself that question. Ask, as we got this lovely card from the angels, ask your angels and guides or the divine in whatever form, resonates to you. Ask for assistance in getting clarity to put all of those pieces of the puzzle together.
because the puzzle is all around you. It's there. It's ready to put the pieces together, the pieces of your life. All the pieces of your life come together to help you see why you're here, what gifts you have to share with others. And you just got to do it one step at a time. Not try to figure out, and I can speak from experience, because about 3 years ago I started doing a web TV show, and it was a fantastic experience. It was all part of the unfolding and the learning process for me, but there was a lot of pressure put on it that of this being it, we got to make this thing work, when it wasn't. It worked the way it was supposed to work, and that was learning what it's like to be in a studio, going through the process of creating a show, all of those things. But that's all it was meant to be. And as going forward, starting with this show, as Lee had talked about quite a bit, just coming into the real, just total moment of enjoying just the show that we're in right now, and not even thinking beyond about what we're talking about right this moment. And it's such a blessing to be in that space, because that is being who we really are, is just being where we're at, because we can only create from where we are right now. You can only tap in to who you are from the vantage point of where you are right now, because all of your life experiences, and I know I've used this term, the tapestry of your life, they all are a part of it. So don't get so in your head and airy-fairy about who you are and what you came here to do. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. Now's the time to take it to the next step. Get quiet, meditation, do the things and the inspired ideas that come to you. Ask for help if you need it. I think that's the key message that we got today with this card, is ask for help. If you don't know what you're good at, ask. Let some other people or the angels or the divine in whatever form help you. Just put some form around it, some concepts, so that you can actually take steps to further on your path. And Lee, you said something really awesome earlier. We may have been off the air when you said this, but a lot of people are in backward thinking, like thinking and staying in the past. That will just keep you right off the course of your path. I mean, you'll just stay in the background of your life. If you work on the forward thinking, staying forward moving, you're going to confront the things of your past, but you're going to do it moving through them instead of staying stuck with them, because we live the past in the now. Everything from our past that we haven't confronted, dealt with, addressed is working in our life right this moment. And so if you keep moving forward with the forward thinking, one step at a time, you're going to get to work through those things, but they're going to come in their right time, and you're not going to have to think about it. They're just going to show up, and life is going to move you through them, trusting that you are going to move through them. And you're going to be an even better, stronger person, and even know more about who you are and why you came here by going through them. So just keep on that forward thinking.
And it just really struck me, and these are the three words that came into my head. God is good. You hear that a lot. But do you really hear that a lot? A lot of times it can be in not taking deeply enough. Because your intentions of being here are always with you. It's just going deeper to find out where they are. And when Michael was talking, I actually pulled a card myself out of the Archangel stack. And Doreen Virtue, and it said career transition. This is very interesting. I don't ever remember ever pulling this card. And it's Archangel Shamriel, and it says your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. Now, that flows right along with exactly what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go back into your mind and say, well, my family's done this like this before. I guess I'm just like they are. I'm this, I'm that, the other. No, everybody's a unique individual. No matter how many people is in your family, no matter how many siblings that you've got, mothers, fathers, whatever, it is still just around you. It is totally around you. It has nothing to do with the energy of the rest of the people that you know in your lifetime. So, if a person wants to go forward, they will. They just have to set their mind in a positive manner and to just say, this is the day I'm going to stop all my bad habits as of this moment. And I'm starting my next moment on a positive mood toward doing my purpose of life, being happy, and be able to fulfill all that I have in my mind to fulfill. So many people cut their selves very short. They have 10 things on their bucket list, and I would recommend everybody take a piece of paper and a pen out and put 10 things that's really, and I call it the bucket list. Put it on there of exactly what you want to do and the sequence that you would like to do that in, and write them down. And then whenever you've accomplished that, you just strike it off and mark it off. I will assure you that within those 10 things that you will put, if you set your mind in a positive mental attitude mode and you stay centered and grounded within yourself, that bucket list is going to go real fast. And you will receive all that's there because you see what you've written down has actually been the insight from the divine to put it there anyway. Because that would be part of your life purpose, if not all of it. It's all in taking that time, not be too spontaneous, and go into a form of peace. The word is peace. And you will always have grace in your life.
That's a beautiful message. You know, this whole idea of change, because what we're talking about, oftentimes to get to the deeper place, understanding awareness of who you are and why you're here, comes a time of pretty significant change in your life that leads up to that. And it's fascinating because the career transition card, which Lee picked, oftentimes for many of us at this time, 2012, are going through career transitions, relationship transitions, just about you name it.
Right.
And it's going on. Financial, blah, 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 blah. And so change is really an amazing catalyst to get closer to understanding who you are. So just because you may be going through a total life overhaul that is forcing you to completely even see yourself in a whole different light, completely let go of people that have not been on the same page, you've not been on the same page with, or even if you thought you were, oftentimes the divine, the universal plan is to help clarify those things so that you can see and move out of situations that don't serve you. But you got to be willing to let it go. You know, like, change really is a constant in life. Things are always going to change, but when you hang on, that's almost resisting the flow of life, helping you to get more attuned to who you are.
I agree with that, Michael, but I also will say that you cannot allow anyone to stop you. Mm-hmm. If it's in you to have that purpose, if has been put into you to be who you are, you cannot allow anybody to stop you from that. Whenever you're allowing a person to stop you from that, mm-hmm. then you're absolutely creating I call it a cancer type feeling in your body of eating itself away because it's not the true you. And you get in a depression state. Mm-hmm. You get into why am I here? Why am I so sad? Mm-hmm. You feel like that you're just chasing yourself in circles. Mm-hmm. It's all around you. And that doesn't, that, you know, to some people, I'm not saying it is an egotistical type thing, but it truly is around you. Because when you really find that sweet spot in yourself of what your destiny and who you are really is, it's just amazing how it changes all the dynamics in everybody that you meet. It can change your dynamics in your children because they see a totally different person that they have never seen before, and they're just recognizing this new human being that is just a wonderful human being compared to what they had thought. It changes your partner to whereby they're looking at you in a different way with more respect. With more of, well, this individual doesn't need all of my help anymore because this individual can do it on their own. It's amazing how the dynamics of how you build yourself makes a huge difference with everyone that's around you. On the other side of that, you might have some difficulty with some of these people that really don't even know who you are anymore. I've probably ran across a few of those myself. Who are you? This is not you. You've just changed yourself so much, I don't even know who you are anymore. But the reality is, they never knew who I was before. And when they look at me now, if they really look at me in a middle type state of no judgment, they are looking at the true person now. So sometimes the thought pattern is totally opposite of what you would think. Because after that transition takes place, there's never any looking back. You're only going forward. And at times there will be people in your life that chooses not to go forward with you. And you just have to love them, bless them, but there's no choice. There's something that's burning within you. There's just absolutely no choice. And you just go for it. And when you go for it, it will be the greatest time of your life. And at the end of the road into your life, you will be able to look back at yourself and say, good job. Good job. Because you actually were able to see the true you and not the fake you.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on all of that. It's an interesting process, though, because for me, I've oftentimes I'll say those things, or I'll say I can't let anyone affect me, but I have to go through a process with myself sometimes of going through the experience of it a few times to where it clicks with me. What steps were I doing within myself that actually got me off? Because I don't sometimes even am not aware. I'm such a feeling person that sometimes I get overwhelmed with the feelings of a situation, and through the going of it a couple times, I get some clarity, which leads me further, to who I am. And so I think that's a blessing. And yeah, if you let other people rule your life, oh my gosh, it's going to keep that that purpose and path from unfolding. And that I think you hit a key in that I'm drawn to at the moment. And the key is that we carry within us this inner ding, this inner guidance, this knowing of what we're drawn to.
That's correct.
And that is, and within that is the map of our life.
Right.
And if we just follow that, and sometimes following that is going through the scenarios of life lessons and things, and that's following the map. Because I know these last couple of years, things that my head would go, I don't want to go through that. It's really challenging. I wouldn't want to have somebody, violate me or those kind of things. Oh my gosh, I just went through my purpose because it circled me right back around. Oh my gosh, now I get who I am. I'm not supposed to keep doing that anymore. It felt horrible, yet I was so guided to go in a particular experience that I'm referring to go through that. And so the key I think that we're getting to in our ramblings back and forth is finding that inner ding, that inner guidance of listening and knowing when you're supposed to move in a direction in your life. And it's experience by experience. Yet, as I think you were saying earlier, it's also important to write down and be aware of a bigger vision, the bigger purpose when you're aware of it. Because I know there's a lot of you out there that are probably struggling right now with not knowing or having a sense of what that is, but you also don't necessarily have to know what that is. It's all about you and your individual path and purpose. And if you just go inside, which that's pretty much what our show we're wanting to do, is reconnect, help you reconnect with your soul, which is where that connection lies, to be able to, when something resonates to you, you can feel it. It's a feeling and a knowing, and you just go for it. You just sometimes have to take a leap. Just try it. I know we're going to have to do a show, Lee, about life transformation and change, just strictly because I personally went through that phase of when I knew that I had to leave corporate America, when it didn't resonate to me anymore. Every bit of my whole being said, no, I can't do this anymore. And if I got stuck in my head and said, but what about the money, or this or that, I would be stuck in that old thing. But there was no way physically that I could do that because it was so strong for me to follow that inner ding. It's time for you to change. It's time for you to change. You don't have to know where you're ending up. You're just going to make this step, and the step is just let it unfold. Don't think about it too much. That was one of the many situations that I've had where I just had to take a leap. I felt a knowing that it was time for me to leave. I couldn't do what I was doing anymore, and I just had to go for it.
I think that the signal with that a lot of times is just you're miserable.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You're just miserable. And I spoke with a lady a couple of weeks ago, and she actually works in the insurance industry, and she was just totally miserable. And we got into, I said, well, why don't you just change? Well, that's all I've ever done all my life is insurance. Is that all that you can do? Because you're a very talented person. I can absolutely see this. So why don't you just sit down, and what do you really want to do? Do you really like working in insurance anymore? No, I absolutely do not. Then what do you want to do? You need to sit down and research in your head what that you really want to do. And the answer to that question was, well, I would really like to go into real estate. And I said, well, then why don't you go into real estate? Well, the market's down. Well, I wouldn't make any money, and everything's doom and gloom, this, that, and the other. Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to get out of that thought pattern, because that's illusions. That's news illusions. That's not who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you really have the passion to do that, you can be a $1 million real estate person. But if you've already defeated yourself before you even go there, and all you're doing is thinking about all the negative things that could happen, or all the things that I can't let go of because of a dollar bill, if you keep going in that type of mode, you know what? You will be in insurance for the rest of your life, sitting in the chair miserable.
Oh, that's so true.
And it was it was a very interesting conversation. I just really think that it's freeing yourself.
Yeah.
If you do not feel free in your own life to manage your own life in the fashion that you're happy, then that's when you go back and you say, let me see where this change is. Because it is a necessity for that to happen.
Yeah.
A necessity. That's when it all clicks. And and there's no type of any worry that goes along with money. Money is nothing but just a way to get there. But that doesn't mean that's the only way to get there. There's a lot of other ways that it can get you there. Sometimes you have to be very entrepreneurial to find that way. But if you open your mind up and you start thinking about all these different ways that I can do this, it's not the same old way that I always just thought I could do this, then it totally opens your whole mind thought to where it's just total happiness. And, just think about this out there. If you are not happy, does anything else ever work?
No.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Now, that's the number one word, is to have happiness in your life. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the friends, you can have all of everything, but if you're not happy within your own self, then none of that really works for you. It's just totally, you're still miserable within yourself. So, I have changed positions in different jobs several different times. And every one of them, I have absolutely never made the money that I made in the first job that I took on. But you know what? It really makes no difference to me because I've still always had enough. Enough to where I would not get out of my happy spot. It's not around it. It's around your mind of just happy or waking up the next morning in total bliss of saying, gosh, what is going to happen? It's going to be great for me today. I just feel it's going to happen. If it's nothing but sitting by yourself and just having peace, that's happy.
Whatever it is.
Whatever
right?
that it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever that it is.
There's so many ways to just learn about yourself and keep moving forward and, go for it. I've found oftentimes that the things that I'm afraid of the most have been the steps that I've needed to take. And so sometimes it's taken me a little while to realize that, but once I do, I'm like, okay, let's do it. I know that I have to face this. I know that life is calling me to do this, and I just do it. And it brings about the most amazing transformation in myself when I do that. Even though I confront fear, it brings about more joy than I ever experienced fear. It just is a total transformation in life. And so I've learned, because I've had a few things, and one of them in my life was being in front of people. I was a little sensitive child. That was one of my biggest fears. I would shake, cringe, and I don't have a trace of that anymore. It's gone. And that has been a process over years of working through that. But I was just like, I got to face this. I got to do it. It feels right. I know that there's something within me that's going to take over, and I've just, keep on stepping it out. And it's been an amazing journey to transform and understand even more who I am, that I'm a powerful being that's strong, who can, believe in himself and the higher power that's running this body, the bigger piece of it. And I know that you can do it too. If I can step through those, I know that you can do it too out there. But just go for it.
My biggest fear, talking about that, my biggest fear as a child, and I just really had to get rid of it, was rejection. It's very interesting. I did not, I felt like that if I was rejected, and maybe I wasn't good enough to have all the friends that I wanted to have. Maybe maybe my parents didn't think I was as good a child as I should be. Rejection. Maybe I would go out and I wouldn't be able to get that job that I really, really wanted, or I wouldn't be able to go into the career that I wanted, or I wouldn't be. I mean, it just went on and on and on. And I've had to work on that for a lot of different years. And what I finally realized when I got to the point that silliness was gone totally was that I was in a body that I should be in. I was in the exact spot of where I should be. And I went back into my lifetime, and I have always, I realized that any job I ever put in for, I was never rejected. I always had it. Isn't that an interesting story?
That shows how false evidence appearing real that fear is.
And I've changed, careers, different kinds of careers. Of course, media has been a lot of it from the beginning, but I've been through other type of things in careers, totally different stuff. And every bit of it I've embraced, and every bit of it I wasn't rejected. And as far as friends, I got a lot of friends. There was always that little thing there that the friend that I really wanted would reject me. Well, my thought pattern is now, if they reject you, then you need to be rejected because you didn't need that friend anyway. You see how you can just flip your mind to that type of
the blessing
state.
in it.
It was just a blessing. And I think by being an only child that sometimes I had some of that going on, because by not having but just me at home, then it was like I didn't have anybody to really bounce off of, with other brothers and sisters and that type of thing. So all of that, anything that's within you, you can overcome and get back to your happy spot.
Mm-hmm. I just had some thoughts. I can feel the angels kind of chiming in as a reminder for all you all out there to follow your inspired just thoughts and desires that you have, because they're going to lead you to learn more about who you are. Taking a class, painting, music, whatever kind of creative tools or anything that comes to you, go for it. Do it. Those things for me, I know that I've tried over the years a lot of different creative outlets that have really helped me. And I always learn something about myself, and I always have learned, for me, one of my other fears growing up that I might not be good enough, which is kind of similar to the rejection thing.
Right.
And so through all of these things, I've learned more. Instead of learned, I want to say experienced more how I have my own unique expression of an art form. Mm-hmm. That my art form is just as good as everyone else's because it's my own unique gift. Instead of looking, because I would look and see someone else's and I would go, wow, that's amazing, but I can't do that. And now I've learned who I am and keep learning who I am and why I'm here by just trying new things. It's just amazing. It's like being a little child, where you're just, to me, tapping into that childlikeness in life is one of the most important things, because you don't close yourself off to learning new things. Like a child just is about learning and touching the earth and feeling and, experiencing things. And I don't ever want to turn that off, because when you turn that off, you stop living.
Right. My heart is still a child.
You and me both on that one.
If I'm on this earth, I'm 100, I'm still going to be a child. That's just the way that it is. It's just the way it is.
And I think we just got to the core of who we all are.
I agree with that. Just go for it. And the key is happiness will always take you to the right place to where you need to be.
Go for it. And so it is.
And so it is.
We'll talk to you next time.